In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through how to lead and manage various changes across the organization effectively and efficiently in your roles. Anyone can lead and manage changes across the organization. All we need to know is what kind of tools and toolkits are available to us to do that. I'm going to take you through the 3 key tools that have worked well for me, and these are the 3 key steps I wouldn't even say yes to supporting or leading on any changes across the organization. They are Change Impact Assessment Tool, Stakeholder Mapping Tool, and RACI Tool. These 3 tools will give you the absolute clarity as to what is changing, who is going to be involved, and who is actually responsible and accountable when it comes to the governance. Let's go through the Change Impact Assessment Tool. What is Change Impact Assessment? Change Impact Assessment is a gap analysis tool that will allow us to understand the impact each change item is likely to have on a particular audience. We need to understand what is the change and who does it affect. We need to understand what is changing and listing the as-is situation. Then we need to list to-be situation, the future state, the desired state. Once we've done that exercise, this is going to give us the gaps, or we will perform something that's called a gap analysis, as well as understanding the impact. Is it high impact, medium impact, or low impact? This exercise will really answer those kind of questions. Once we understand the gaps and the impact, we can then discuss interventions. What kind of interventions do we need to put in place to make sure the changes we're trying to get to are effective and efficient? Let's break down the 4 key areas we need to talk about when it comes to conducting or performing change impact assessment. They are people impact, operating model, processes and tools, behaviors and culture. Let's start from people impact. This is the number 1 key area that we need to understand. What is the impact on our people as a result of the proposed changes? That is the number 1 key question we need to start with. We need to understand their roles and responsibilities, who does what, skills and knowledge required, performance requirements, and things like that. Number 2 is operating model. We need to understand these formal and informal structures and reporting lines, operating policies and procedures in place. Number 3, processes and tools. We need to understand systems, data, tools, workflows, anything that these particular teams are using, and if that is also going to change. And the final one, behaviors and culture. We need to understand what is actually being proposed. Is there any impact on the existing behaviors and culture? And if yes, can we articulate it? Can we define it to really understand as to what sort of interventions we need to put in place to perhaps facilitate a change in behaviors, or perhaps change in mindset and working leadership styles? The next tool is stakeholder mapping exercise. This is a very important step which should not be missed or skipped. This tool will absolutely clarify and list all of the people, all of the stakeholders we need to work with. Various people across our teams and organization would have an interest and also relevant power as to what they could enable, what they can do for us when it comes to supporting these changes. I love completing this exercise. In fact, when it comes to supporting any initiative, any work initiative, any project, I complete this step. This is very important to build good relationships, to clarify as to their involvement in what needs to happen. And also at the same time, those kind of conversations when people are saying, I didn't know about this. How come I wasn't informed? I needed to know about this. There's actually impact as a result of this change on my teams. I also needed to be informed. So if you conduct this exercise well before you start communicating as to what is going on, this exercise will absolutely help you, and you will build great relationships with some of these people to inform them as to what is going on and what is their interest and or power when it comes to supporting some of these changes across the organization. Here we go how it looks like as a visual. As you can see, this is a simple visual with 4 boxes. We need to put relevant names in each of these boxes. You will have 4 groups of people. These would be people who we need to keep satisfied, people we need to manage closely, people we need to keep informed, and people we need to monitor. There is a scale from low to high when it comes to power and interest. Power is all about to what extent can they influence the success of initiatives, plans and changes. When it comes to interest, to what extent are they interested in these initiatives, plans and changes? Then we put relevant names in each of these boxes, and we continue to have meetings, conversations with them to make sure they are up to date, up to speed and informed, and also take part in relevant meetings and decision taking as appropriate. And the final tool is RACI Tool, which I'm sure many of you have heard about. The RACI Tool stands for who is going to be responsible for certain things, activities or tasks, who is going to be accountable for these tasks and responsibilities if they happen or if they don't happen. I also tend to use this on a regular basis, especially when I'm saying yes to pieces of work as to what I need to do and support. I want to know from day one as to who's going to be responsible for certain things, who's actually going to be accountable for certain things, who needs to be consulted, and who needs to be informed. But the RACI tool is absolutely great for any governance as to who does what. It absolutely answers all these questions about ambiguity and confusion as to who is supposed to do what. So therefore, prior to embarking on leading or managing or delivering some of these changes, there has to be an exercise or a workshop or a meeting to talk about various roles and responsibilities as well as who needs to do what. I want to know who's going to be responsible for certain things, who's going to be accountable for those things, who needs to be consulted, and who needs to be informed about some of the things that I am going to be leading or delivering. This should be a very simple, easy tool to use and a very simple, easy exercise to complete with our stakeholders. And this is how it looks like as a simple table. This tool will give you the absolute clarity and guidance as to how you're going to work with other people and who's going to do what. Lack of clarity is still one of the key reasons as to when we as employees get disengaged from our roles, from our teams, and from our organizations. This is when we start to feel unhappy and start to look at alternative roles and opportunities, either internally or externally. This is a very easy and simple tool to use. All you need is one meeting or a couple of meetings, and then the job's done. Stakeholder map and RACI tool should be reviewed on a regular basis as people may change roles from time to time as well as their responsibilities. I'm happy to share my tools and toolkits with you. All you need to do is get in contact with me, send me an email, which you can find below. I also issue a weekly newsletter, which I suggest you subscribe to. I'm sharing lots of interesting ideas, concepts, and insights with various tools and toolkits you can also download and use in your roles. If you have liked this video, there are many similar ones on my channel, so I'll see you in the next one.